So far, throughout this track, you have learned about life insurance, hospital indemnity, dental, vision, and hearing, and ACA coverage. Each one adds value to the client and income to your business. But knowing what to sell is only half the equation. Knowing when to sell it is what separates agents who cross-sell naturally from agents who come across as pushy. This video ties it all together. The rule is simple. Solve the primary problem first. Every client came to you for a reason. Usually it's Medicare related. They need help choosing a plan, understanding their options, or enrolling in coverage. That is the problem they asked you to solve. Until that problem is fully resolved and the client feels good about the outcome, you don't introduce anything else. No life insurance, no hospital indemnity, no ancillary, nothing. The moment you start layering on additional products before the primary need is met, the client stops feeling helped and starts feeling sold to. That is the fastest way to lose the trust you just spent 30 minutes building. Here is how to know when the primary problem is solved. The client is enrolled, they understand their coverage, and they have confirmed they are comfortable with the decision. You can usually tell because their body language relaxes, they thank you, or they say something like, "That was a lot easier than I expected." That moment of relief is your signal. The client is satisfied and open. Now you can expand the conversation. The transition should feel like a natural extension of the help you already provided, not a pivot to a new sales pitch. You have already practiced the transition language for each product in this track. The pattern is the same every time. You acknowledge that the primary problem is handled. You identify one gap the client may not be aware of, and you offer to show them what is available. One product at a time. Don't stack 3 additional products into the same appointment. Pick the one that is most relevant to this specific client and introduce that. If they are a Medicare Advantage enrollee, hospital indemnity is probably the most natural next step. If they are on a Medicare supplement, dental, vision, and hearing fills the clearest gap. If they mentioned a spouse or family member without coverage, ACA is the door to open. The timing also extends beyond the initial appointment. Not every cross-sell has to happen the same day. Some of the best cross-sell conversations happen on follow-up calls, annual reviews, or check-ins. You call a client 3 months after enrollment to see how their plan is working. They say, "Everything is great." You say, "Glad to hear that." By the way, I wanted to mention something a lot of my clients have found helpful. And you introduce the product that fits their situation. Follow-up cross-selling works well because the trust has had time to deepen. The client knows you are not just chasing a commission because you already helped them and came back to check on them without being asked. Here is what this looks like when you put it all together. You enroll a 67-year-old couple in Medicare Advantage plans. At the end of the appointment, you mention hospital indemnity because both plans have hospital copays. They enroll. 2 weeks later, you call to check in and make sure their cards arrived and their doctors are in network. Everything is good. You mention that their plans do not include comprehensive dental, and you offer to show them a bundled dental, vision, and hearing plan at their convenience. They say they would love to see it. You just turned one appointment into 3 product placements across 2 interactions, and at no point did the client feel pressured because every product was introduced after trust was established and a need was identified. So, here's your action step. At your next appointment, write down the one cross-sell product that is most relevant to that specific client before you walk into the appointment. Don't plan to pitch it. Plan to mention it only after the primary enrollment is complete and the client is satisfied. That one habit turns cross-selling from an awkward add-on into a natural part of how you serve your clients.